Yeah, the Disney premieres are bigger than other premieres. You know you're on a Disney train when you turn up at the premieres. They're bigger and jazzier and kind of more exciting.
Because the bigger the bigger the premiere, the bigger the launch, the more heat it has, and the more chance it has of catching light, I suppose. Not that Maleficent needs to, but of course everything needs to. You can't take anything for granted. Okay, so looking at the first movie, which I didn't see, took $758.5 million at the box office. You two do seem to have the golden touch when choosing a project. How so?
Well, I mean...
where's the inner diviner within both of you?
Yeah, I think it's all about just storytelling. And I think that the projects that I choose are related to that. I just feel like if I'm moved, if I'm touched, if I'm engaged, if I think it's a ride, then I'm excited to get on board.
See, I like that. I think it's a ride, that'll do, won't it? That's the answer there. Okay, what about you, Ed?
I think it's a combination of using my somewhat limited intellect and using my instincts. It's like you analyse the project, and see who the director is, who the producers are, who the writers are. You look at the text, and then after that, I kind of just go with instinct.
Go to church a lot. That does help as well. Anybody, by the way, anybody who says that, with my limited intellect, never has limited intellect.
Yeah, always very
It's really
clever.
quite annoying, that, isn't it? Very annoying. Now, this film was brought forward. That hardly ever happens. The release of the movie was brought forward by 6 months. It's going to be a 2020 release. Often movies are put back, and that's usually not the greatest sign. Not always, but usually. But a film being brought forward. When were you told about this?
I think I was told about half a year ago, something like that. Yeah.
So
it was a surprise to me as well, just because they had so much in terms of effects to do for the film, that the idea that it was getting brought forward was really surprising. But
because you were still working on it almost 6 months ago, so this is like...
Yes, we were working on it in February.
You were cutting and shutting still in February. So you're brought back for... It's not reshoots, is it extra pages, or what do they do?
No, it's called reshoots.
Is it reshoots?
This
or additional photography.
Yes, additional photography.
Not like you were rubbish first time, so they've changed the name.
Can you redo it, please? You didn't do it properly. Let's do it again.
They've changed the names to protect the innocent. All right, did you have to do anything again?
I didn't, actually. I was fine the first time, apparently.
Oh, rock and roll!
Yeah, they just wrote some extra scenes for me. That's all it was. They said we need more of that, geezer.
Have you seen the time lapse of Angelina in makeup?
Yes.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, we were living that every day. My first makeup test was 10.5 hours, Chris, and then after that we got it down to about 5.5. I think the fastest we ever did was 4:02 or 3:57.
That's for you.
Yeah, that's for me.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, it does work. All the money's on the screen, which is great. But how long did it take for Angelina to become Maleficent, then?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think it's about 3 hours, 3-4 hours, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, same. 3 hours,
Really?
4 hours, yeah.
So what?
5 hours in the beginning.
Because they did. I mean, it's almost like they hollowed out your cheeks, Ed. What did they do to you?
Well, they add these prosthetic pieces to your cheekbones, and then they have to, But I also had prosthetic pieces on my torso, on one of my arms, on my shoulders. Yeah, they printed on my six-pack every morning over the beer belly, and they just had to do so much, the ears, and then they have to spray it. I mean, you're standing there at 7 a.m. with Alan Partridge on a laptop in front of you while they put on your horns.
Is that what you did?
That's how I got through.
What about
it most
you,
days.
Chiwetel? How did you get through prosthetics in the morning?
I just stared into the nothingness, for 4 hours every day.
Were you quite zen?
Yeah, I was in preparation mode, let's say.
By the way, if you haven't seen the time lapse of Angelina getting ready, we've put it on our website, haven't we? So is there a link there? Is it on Instagram? Okay, it's on our Instagram. It's brilliant. It's a great viral trailer for the movie. So I was banging on about special effects before, right? Because I just don't get them. I know it sounds like an old geezer talking, but I just don't get them. So
what don't you get?
I don't get how clever you've got to be to make them happen. It's
they're
basically
very clever. They are very clever.
So I was talking about, I cited Guy Ritchie's Aladdin. Have you seen Guy Ritchie's Aladdin?
I have, yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. You've seen it?
No.
Okay. Even the opening credits, basically, directed by, starring, casting directors, all the credits come on, and then they're blown away like a sandstorm, aren't they? They're blown away like a glittery sandstorm. Okay, how do you do that, right? You get to Aladdin's cave, and it all starts jumping around, and you dive into maybe a 5 or 6 dimensional world, right? And that's kindergarten compared to what goes on in your blimmin' movie, right? Yeah. Do you know anybody who works in that department? Do they ever see the light of day, these people?
I mean, I don't know if they do.
I think the short answer is no, they don't.
Yeah, it is incredible what is achievable now.
Tell us about the What spoiler-wise? How far do we go? We're talking about your film. Do we talk about
Would you want to know? I'll tell you if we can.
The bombs. Can we tell about?
Well, no, I don't think
the bombs
that's...
are the best thing.
I don't think we can go quite there.
They are I mean, if you were going to be bombed, well, I won't say what the bombs are, by the way. If you were going to be bombed, and it will end up with you no longer being who you are. You're pretty inanimate and incapable of living any kind of life. Well, no, you will. I don't want to go too far. But if you want to be bombed, you want to be bombed by these bombs. They're Disney bombs, aren't they?
They're Disney bombs. They're definitely Disney bombs.
I mean,
exactly.
they're effective.
Yes.
They can bring a nation to its knees, and they potentially might.
Yeah, I thought they did an amazing job of kind of portraying battle and war without having the gruesome... side of it.
The blood and the guts.
Yeah, I thought they did really well.
You know that about pantomimes? You know that about pantomimes?
Do I... The what?
Custard pies? You know about custard pies?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
But do you know why they're custard pies?
Do I know... Well,
do you know why?
I mean, no.
Okay, so there's a book that I bought once at a book fair called Putting on a Pantomime. And it's got the rules. You know there are rules to a pantomime.
I didn't know that.
Baddies always come on from the left.
Oh, really?
Goodies always come off the right. There's a language of pantomime.
Wow.
And the pantomime version of the Disney Maleficent Happy Bomb, or Friendly Bomb, right, is the custard pie. Because originally, they threw jam tarts at each other, and then the jam used to dribble down the actor's face, and the kids used to cry because they thought they were bleeding.
Right.
So they changed them from jam tarts to custard pies.
Wow.
And that's what Disney have done in Maleficent.
Yeah, they've taken another stage. Amazing. So
talking about stages, this is another mighty British movie. It's back, but it's Disney movie, but it's made at Pinewood. Okay, tell us about the wonder of the UK movie industry right now.
Incredible.
It's the best, isn't it?
It's phenomenal. The team that we had at Pinewood were just phenomenal. Chris Cristaldi, Matthew Sharp, all of the amazing AD teams. David White, Stuart.
The Viz Effects teams and the...
Unbelievable.
Smuffics.
The prosthetics team.
Yeah, the prosthetics.
Phenomenal. And when you're at Pinewood, I don't know how many studios... I've been there a few times. I worked there a couple of times. But the 007 stage is there as well, isn't it? That's the big shadow that looms over everything else. But then you've got this... What's the big place with the blue screen? What's that called? With the big lake around the back?
No idea.
You never seen it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So they have like you shoot against blue screen sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a massive lake around the back of Pinewood where they shoot the water scenes for movies, all the movies you've seen in the whole wide world.
Yeah, no.
I've
never seen it.
You've got to go around the back of Pinewood.
I've seen almost everything else. I've never seen the big blue lake with the board at the back.
It's blimmin' enormous.
I've never seen it. Maybe it's just because it's... I don't know.
No, you can't not see back. They must be hiding it from you for a reason.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
It's always too early in the morning, you see. I'm always fast asleep in the back.
I think you're talking about the place that we filmed the all of the garden palace scenes.
Right.
I think that's where you're talking
about.
No
lake. There wasn't a lake there.
No, there's some water at the back, but I think that I think you can change it and make it bigger and smaller.
There's a lake underneath.
Oh, maybe it's an underwater underneath.
Russell Crowe, you can't keep him out of there, Russell Crowe. He's
in there in his speedos.
He's always shooting water scenes in there. And his displacement isn't what it used to be. Anyway.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.